Welcome to The Explainer. I am so thrilled you're joining us today because honestly, we are going on a fascinating and kind of unexpected journey. We're going to dig into a groundbreaking study out of Malaysia that is literally redefining an institution you probably walk right past every single week. So let's just dive right in and uncover a hidden superpower hiding right there in plain sight. Think about this for a second. What is the absolutely most underutilized scientific laboratory in your city? Right now, you're probably picturing, a forgotten university basement, maybe an old corporate research park. But what if I told you the answer is actually your local library? No way, right? It sounds completely surprising, but trust me, by the end of this explainer, you're going to see these buildings in a totally different light. Section 1. The Citizen Science Boom. It's a community-driven shift. Now let's get our terms straight. Citizen science, or CS for short, is an amazing approach to research where the public, everyday people, actively participate in data collection, analysis, and discovery. Whether we're talking about tracking local bird populations, testing the neighborhood water quality, or, logging plant species on a campus walk, regular citizens are directly contributing to real science and democratizing knowledge. And researchers in Malaysia have mapped out this exact journey. They've traced the flow from how stakeholders currently perceive libraries, which, let's be honest, is mostly just as places to check out books or get basic data support, all the way to a vastly expanded vision of what they could actually be within the open science framework. Let's look at exactly how we cross that bridge. Section 2. Rethinking the modern library and shattering those old stereotypes. Because there is a massive disconnect here. The perception is that libraries are just these dusty book repositories and super quiet study spaces. But the reality? It's a whole different ballgame. Modern libraries are incredibly dynamic. Researchers found that academic and public libraries are already fully capable of teaching complex biostatistics, managing massive data servers, and even hosting interactive eco-museums. The gap between what we think they do and what they actually can do is just massive. I absolutely love this quote from a project manager interviewed in the study. They said, like ancient palaces, all information and agendas can be housed there. We can use the concept of a library in a similar way, especially for the community. Doesn't that just completely humanize the data? It frames the library not just as a room crammed with books, but as this irreplaceable community anchor, a real central hub for civic engagement.
And that brings us to the pivot point. The library's role in citizen science acts as the ultimate bridge. We're moving away from the current reality and crossing over into 5 incredibly exciting, totally untapped potential roles that stakeholders have identified.
Section 3. Unlocking the data goldmine and revealing some serious technical expertise.
Here's a remarkably candid quote from a professional academic researcher in the study. "I never expected the library to be interested in this kind of project." They openly admit they were completely caught off guard that a library wanted to collaborate on complex data. It just goes to show even professional scientists often overlook the library as a serious partner because, well, they're blinded by those old stereotypes too. But the evidence is right there. Another quote points out, the librarians teach biostatistics, SPSS, C++, so they have the necessary knowledge. Librarians, especially in academic settings, are already teaching advanced statistical software and complex programming languages. They literally have the exact data management and analytical skills that large-scale community science projects desperately need, but usually don't have the time or funding to handle themselves. So we really need to completely shift our mindset from book repositories to what the researchers call living labs. It's this amazing concept where libraries transform into active spaces for interactive knowledge exchange. Just picture this. Local fishermen coming in to share generations of ecological knowledge with young students, and the librarians are right there professionally curating that data. That is a living lab in action.
Section 4. 5 roles for the future. Let's look at the comprehensive blueprint.
Stakeholders laid out 5 foundational pillars for the future library. 1. Comprehensive resource centers. 2. Collaborative engagement hubs. 3. Training and capacity building. 4. Data managers and custodians. And 5, supporters of the SDGs. Okay, let's actually break down what each of these exciting pillars looks like in the real world. Pillar 1 transforms the library into a comprehensive resource center, but definitely not just for books. Imagine walking up to the circulation desk and checking out a drone, or an environmental sensor to test your local river, or getting fully set up with biodiversity platforms like the iNaturalist app. The library essentially becomes a high-tech equipment dispensary for everyday citizens.
Moving to Pillar 2, the Collaborative Engagement Hub. As one stakeholder noted,
The library could be a primary facilitator for spreading awareness of science by organizing events such as exhibitions or awareness days. Libraries already have incredible foot traffic and, crucially, community trust. They can be the megaphone for science initiatives, drawing the public into vital local research they might never even hear about otherwise.
Pillar 3 is all about training and capacity building. Look, if you're going to hand a citizen volunteer a drone or a water sensor, you kind of need to ensure the data they collect is actually scientifically valid, right? Libraries are perfectly positioned for this. They can equip everyday citizens with the right skills, teaching data collection methodology, standard protocols, and software analysis, which ensures scientists get high-quality, accurate data.
Pillar 4 tackles a huge problem in science: lost data. So often, a community project wraps up, and the data just vanishes onto someone's personal, dusty hard drive. But libraries, they step in as data custodians. They provide the servers, they manage the complex metadata, and they ensure long-term data continuity so that valuable environmental info is preserved for future generations. Section 5. Driving global sustainability and supporting the SDGs. You might be wondering about the numbers 11 and 15. Well, those represent the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. Goal 11 focuses on sustainable cities and communities, and Goal 15 is all about life on land. The researchers made a brilliant connection here. Library-backed citizen science projects directly support these exact global targets.
And this is the fifth and final pillar. When a library helps, say, local schoolchildren catalog flora or supports volunteers monitoring clean drinking water, they are literally connecting local, grassroots actions to massive global environmental targets. The library becomes the engine that translates local community effort into worldwide sustainability. How cool is that?
We have covered a lot of ground today in this explainer, from completely shattering the old dusty book stereotype to envisioning libraries as high-tech living labs that are literally safeguarding our planet's data. So I want to leave you with this final provocative thought to chew on. The infrastructure is already built. The experts are already waiting inside. How will you unleash your local library's superpower for community science? Thanks so much for joining me. Keep asking questions, and I'll catch you next time.